Good morning. Today I want to talk about the Google extensions that I use on a daily basis in my classroom. Google is my primary means of, my word processor and all that stuff. And Google Classroom is the biggest part of my day. So, this is what I use. I typically do not use Microsoft Office. Nothing against it. I just typically go this route because for my students, the ease of my students. I teach special education. It's a self-contained classroom. So these extensions really make these big jobs very simple for my students, and it's very important that my students know where these are at and how to use them, because, like I said, it does make tasks very very easy for them. The form I talk about today are Google Hangouts, Screencastify, the Read Aloud, which is a text to speech reader, and then the Alice Keeler Classroom Split. I'll start right. I mean, obviously with Screencastify, we're on here now. Everybody knows what this is. Where I use this in my classroom for my students is, I'm a football coach. I believe in film study and showing students their mistakes, or athletes their mistakes based off film, and also the things that did well. So a lot of times with Screencastify, I will have my students demonstrate something for me. Maybe I know a couple months ago we did a lesson on virtual shopping. And I had my students actually go through and virtually shop, after as their screen was recording, so that I could see what they were doing, if they were doing it right, and then how I could help them. So I use Screencastify in many ways, but that's one of the more popular ways I use it. Google Hangouts is next one I'll discuss in my short amount of time here. I use Google Hangouts. Like I said, you can see some of the list of people that I've talked to, some of my kids and my coworkers. I used what I do with Google Classroom is I actually have my students use this. They will communicate with each other, and also communicate with me. And the reason I use this is because the students are actually getting to type and write out stuff and deliver thoughts and all that. And I think communication is a big thing for my students, being able to communicate properly, but also the written, the written skills are getting by typing and all that. So, in their minds, they're just chilling with Coach Keezer for the day. But from the teacher's desk, they're actually working on skills, like I said, typing, writing out ideas, and communication, which is very big for my students. The read aloud is exactly what you think what you think it is.
New.
It works better on what I've learned in my history with it. It works better on paragraphs. It doesn't like to read necessarily websites per se. You can't put it on a certain website and have it read just every word. But it does work like on stuff like this. Like I said, these are simple directions I gave to my students that were going virtual this year. So all they do is they go up here to extensions, click on the read aloud.
Check email in Google Classroom every day at 8:15. All work will be posted in there, and if nothing is in any one of those,
and you can see what it does. I mean, there's no reason to read all that, but you can see what it does. But that does very well. I have one or two students here that do struggle reading, and if they're having trouble, that's what they'll go to, is that right there. Finally, the one that we use a lot in here, because I am such a Google Classroom guy, I guess, is the Alice Keeler Classroom Split. And what it does, it allows my students to actually get on here. When they click on it, it takes it straight to their Google Classroom, and right here they can have split screens, and they can see their assignment over here. If they're seeing this right here, they can have this right here, but they can also be over here working on it. That way they're not having to flip back and forth. Motor skills are some of the issues I deal with on a daily basis with my students, and this kind of helps that out. So that's one reason I like the Alice Keeler Classroom Split. But like I said, these are the 4 extensions I use on a daily basis. I obviously, doing this module, I learned about a lot more, and I'm looking forward to using those as time goes on.